squats. Mark is going to start with an option for your seated participants. So he is starting in our first progression seated. Remember, you want to make everybody feel included. So we're going to do a leg extension for your students that aren't comfortable with squats because we want to give them an option. So we learned this one already, but basically he's just doing a little lift up and then he's straightening his leg and then lowering down. So it's a little lift, a straighten, and lower down. So this is your option for your deconditioned participants. Now, the next level of a squat, and this is very important, make sure your students have proper alignment. So their toes are directly ahead. Knees are in line with their toes. They are nice and tall. They have that good posture. Now, we want to make sure that they have even weight distributed in their feet. So they have a firm foundation with their feet. Hands can be on the thighs, and then we can have them just stand up. Now pause right here. Make sure your students are in a position where their feet are a few inches from their chair, so when they sit down, their entire tush is going to land on that chair. Super important. So now, cue your students to slowly lower down. Do that one more time, Mark. Your students may do one or two of these to get started. So it's always good. You can combine the leg extensions with the squats to progress your students up to doing squats because squats are functional movements. Think of how many times your students need to have that strength to get up and down off the couch, in and out of their car. They need that strength. Okay, Mark, stand up one more time and have a seat. The next progression is I'm going to have Mark stand up, and now he is going to lead back with his backside as his hands reach out and his chest stays lifted. What I want you to look at is your students' knees. Are they still lined up with the toes? Quite often you're going to see those knees come together or they come out. That's going to put a lot of force, sheer forces on the knees, and they could get hurt. You want to keep that knee in line with the ankle and the hip. It's right there in the middle. That will help protect the knee. Now you notice as Mark's coming down, his chest is staying out. So you can cue your students to keep your chest up so it's right in line with the hands. So if Mark or your students want to take this a little bit deeper, he can lower his bottom closer to the chair as long as he maintains all that wonderful alignment. Thank you, Mark. Now Darcy is going to demonstrate our next progression. So she's going to use her body weight still, and she's going to squat, and then she's going to add in a rotation. So we're going to have her bring her hands up. She's going to squat, and then she's going to turn and pivot her body. She's going to squat center. And there's two ways that you can do this. Right now, Darcy is squatting as she's turning. You see she has triple extension of that leg as she turns. So she's turning her knee, her hip, and her toes as she rotates. Another way that she can add in rotation is she can squat and just do a small rotation from the rib cage. So right here, she's keeping her hips steady and she's getting rotation from the rib cage area as she goes side to side. So both are correct, but make sure that you are cueing your students on which one you want them doing. Now this exercise is good for your high-end experience participants and even your Excel participants. We have another progression, but make sure that your students can perform squats with their body weight correctly before you add any kind of resistance or weight. So we're going to start, we're going to add just extra resistance with the dumbbells. So we're going to come up to the top of the bicep curl, palms facing the body, And now, Darcy's just going to do that basic squat. So we need you, with your students, looking exactly like Darcy. Chest is staying up. What happens sometimes is when we wait, is the chest starts to come forward towards the ground, and you can just see, oh, low back. She's unsupported forward flexion. That is going to torque her back. We do not want that. So their chest needs to stay up if they become weighted. Now she can also add a little rotation right here. Good. So you can see, check out, which rotation did Darcy choose? The one from the rib cage. Now I'm going to have Darcy center, and we're going to show you a combo movement, which you'll see in Excel. So we're talking specifically Excel here. So the hands are forward. Now Darcy's going to squat, and she's going to press one arm up. Squat and press. So you can see this is a combined movement. There's a lot of things going on. So your students need to be at a really high skill level to do this. So first we have them coming to the front, and then we're going to combine this with a rotation with triple extension. So Darcy's going to turn. Yep, perfect. So think, picking it up, putting it up. So she's sitting down, she's got triple extension. It's one big movement. This is an advanced exercise. We'll have Darcy do that 2 more times. Good. And I'm going to have her choose a different means of resistance, the tube. So we're going to check out the tube. So again with the tube, no matter what level, this is for the Excel level, but you still remind them they need to have that tube in the middle of their shoes. Now the way that you can weight this is by bringing it up into that bicep curl, hanging out there, and then doing your squat. You need to watch your students if you use the tube. The tendency is, because that tube has resistance, that they lead with their chest. And again, that will torque their back, and they can possibly get hurt. So they have to have the ability to squat and to keep their chest lifted. Now Darcy can add in that little rotation from the rib cage here. And I'll have you do that 2 more times. So her eyes are straight ahead. Thank you, Darcy. That was the squat.